I want to tell you a story first, which is that almost a decade ago, I was working at a restaurant, and I was in a low vibration, and I went out on my break and meditated to the sound of Esther's voice. And I was so proud that I shifted my energy. And when I went back into my shift and went into the bathroom to restock something, who was standing there?
That's weird.
And that's when I fell in love with weird. So I'm so grateful to be here. I want to keep the momentum going, and I would love some help recalibrating.
Well, the momentum will keep going unless you kill it momentarily, and when you do, you always feel negative emotions. So when you're doing that thing that slows the momentum down, you know it.
Yes, and...
Or does it not feel like the momentum is going?
Okay, I'm just going to say the thing. Sometimes when and this is where I want to break this pattern, sometimes when I feel overwhelmed or fearful, I just go to I go to sleep, and then, or I eat something or scroll, and these things that are basically in the moment relief, but not really, because then I feel worse. And so I want to break those patterns.
The thing is, as it's feeling worse, there is a momentum in that. But do you notice how that always comes to an end? Well, we're really wanting you to hear us and believe yourself, and words don't teach, so we're asking you to reach for the evidence in what you've lived. That momentum is about what you're focused upon, but more of your moments are focused upon what you want than what you don't want, and that's why the predominant trajectory of your life is one that is pleasing you. So why are you beating up on yourself about not being able to get online? Oh, that was Esther.
It's familiar.
You said overwhelmment and fear. Look how far apart those are on the emotional scale. There's fear. Overwhelmment's way over there. So which is it? Does it go from overwhelmment to fear? Or does it go from fear to overwhelmment?
Good question.
You start out mostly in overwhelmment because you've got a big life and there's a lot going on and you're trying to take care of a lot of things and you care about a lot of things, and that's good. There's a lot of really wonderful things that are happening. A lot of different subjects. Jerry used to describe it as keeping a lot of plates spinning at the same time. When you believe that it's through your action that you keep it going, and you're limited by how much time you have or how much energy you have, you feel like you're spread too thin, then the overwhelmment comes because it feels to you like you can't keep up the action that is necessary to keep it all going. Well, a lot of what we've talked about here today will soothe that, because it's not your action that's keeping it going, it's your mood or your attitude. Well, those are indicators, but it's a fun way to look at it. That's not what's keeping it going. What's keeping it going is that it keeps going. Universal forces are what are keeping it going. Whatever it is you're focused upon, the law of attraction's response to you and your bag of marbles is what's keeping it going. And you have much more control over what's active in your bag of marbles than you've ever thought before this day as you've been listening. So we know for sure that's going to improve right away. But if the momentum is moving from overwhelmment to fear, which is just about half the scale, then it can just as easily move from fear back up to overwhelmment and beyond. In other words, you've got control over which way you're moving on the emotional scale. Do you accept that?
Yes.
You're hesitant because you don't always focus in a way that you notice the effect.
Correct.
Let's start with overwhelmment, because that's the most common thing that you trip on. And stay with us just a little bit. Can you put the emotional scale up on the screen? Take a look at it and look where 22 is over on one side and overwhelmment's at the bottom of the other, but see where it is. Thank you. So let's say that you're in overwhelmment and you want to keep the momentum going. So we want to say, which momentum? You want to go from overwhelmment to fear? No, I'm in overwhelmment. I don't want to go to fear. Well, so now give us some feeling places of things that feel like overwhelmment or better. Start with overwhelmment. Give us the feeling place. Give us an example of what's happening that you feel overwhelmed about.
My lack of clarity around finances.
All right, so you dug in and made it worse than it needs to be. You assigned blame to yourself. Where's blame? No, it's worse. It's worse. So you're in overwhelmment about more debt than money?
Yes, and wanting to earn in a way that feels more in alignment.
Well, now you're getting all sidetracked. You see how complicated it gets? It's like, not only do I feel overwhelmed because I don't have as much money as I want, but I don't want to even do the things that I could do that would make more money. And so now it gets all complicated. So let's just pick something with the intent. These are your words to us.
See, and this is when I want to take a nap.
This is really good. Yeah. We know because it's easier, but when you wake up, your vibration is where you last left it. And so it's good before you take the nap to leave it in a better place. And by deliberately focusing, you can move overwhelmment up the emotional scale rather than down the emotional scale. Your words to us were, I want to increase momentum. And we want to clarify to you that momentum can go feel better or feel worse, feel better or feel worse. And we know you mean, I want to increase the momentum to feel better, but you're not practiced at that. You know that story that we were telling you about the woman who was being really vague? And the audience was getting restless about it, but we really wanted the demonstration of what we were talking about. And so we let her go on for a while, and then we said, well, really, what is it that's bothering you? And suddenly, she was not vague. She got so very, very specific, it was just an incredible thing to see. We said, see how practiced you are on those words? You're so practiced on those words, you're just not practiced on the other. So the whole point is, you want to practice on the ones that feel better. And so what's happening to you is, there's not enough momentum to get you to want to practice on the ones that feel better. So you say, I think I'll take a nap so I at least don't make it worse. That's what's going on there. And to a point, that's a good thing. But after a while, you recognize it's not getting you anywhere.